Hey guys, JG here. Before this video gets started, make sure to subscribe to the TMK channel for all of our content. We got JG's Movie Night, we got Look Mono Helmet, and our newest edition, Obscurities of the Silver Screen. Now, it isn't necessarily a new show. Obscurities is a podcast I would do with Remy Grey, and we watched movies we never heard of with zany titles. Now, we're interested in making new episodes for YouTube and podcasting platforms, but in order to do that, we need your help. If you like this podcast and you find it funny, you want more, help us get this video to 1,000 likes. I know that sounds crazy, right? But hey, let's shoot for the moon, why not? Tell your friends about it, share it on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, I don't know, is Tumblr still a thing? Let's do that too. If we all band together, we can resurrect this amazing show. Thanks for listening to my little spiel, and now sit back, relax, and enjoy Obscurities of the Silver Screen.
Hey there, sexy mama Cheetah.
Oh, whoa. Who? Little old me?
Oh, yeah, you pretty darling.
Oh, why, sir, you are so gallant.
Are you ready to, TCB?
Oh, well, I don't quite know what that means.
Well, it means, taking care of business.
Wow, you are so quick with your hands. It was almost like you are doing that karate they've been telling me all about.
Oh, I love karate. Ha!
Whoa.
Let's get obscure, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh.
And we are back for week 8
yeah.
of Obscurities of the Silver Screen. I am JG. This is Remy. We have no guest this week. It's just the two of us.
Solo.
Solo.
Well, I mean,
even though it's like
duo.
Yeah. If you could not tell from the little intro we had, we watched a movie that was involved Elvis Presley. What was that movie called, Remy?
Bubba Ho-Tep.
Yes, Bubba Ho-Tep, starring Bruce Campbell, Ozzy Davis, and wow, this is actually the first movie we watched that is legitimately a good film.
Yeah, it was actually intended as, well, I mean, as we talk about it, you'll find that it's a comedy. It's one part comedy, one part horror. It was really well done, and it's
all parts awesome.
Yeah.
Like, Cool as Ice, I think, was still ironically funny, and like we loved it, but I think
I think it was beautiful.
But this movie was just a masterpiece. It came out in 2002, and really kind of a really low budget movie. And like we said, Bruce Campbell's in it, and so is Ozzy Davis. And Bruce Campbell he plays Elvis Presley.
He doesn't play anybody else. He does not play the person pretending to be Elvis Presley.
Well, that's something to never make clear for us, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
And then we also have Ozzy Davis who he thinks he's JFK. Now, Ozzy Davis, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who he is, Ozzy Davis is a black actor. And so he thinks he's JFK, like that. They just took JFK's brain out of his head and then put it into he
does state that his brain was taken out and replaced with a sandbag.
Yeah, but
so
then
he
also
still
that,
gets waves from the White House where his brain
darkened
is.
his skin.
They dyed him this way.
They dyed him black.
It's the best way to hide his identity.
Oh my God, this movie was brilliant. The director of the movie is a guy named Don Coscarelli. And he wrote this movie, he directed it. Now, I guess it is based on a short story, but it's still like, he wrote it and directed himself. He clearly loved this story so much, and he clearly loved Bruce Campbell enough that he wanted him to play Elvis Presley, which, by the way, after seeing this movie...
Perfect casting.
And I do not want to see anybody else ever playing Elvis Presley.
I wouldn't even want to see another Elvis movie if it's not Bruce Campbell.
No, it's not Bruce Campbell. He was... absolutely just astounding in this film. So let's get into it.
All right.
So it starts off with...
the definition, and they start off with Ho-Tep.
Yeah,
And they
which
go-
Hotep means like it is the surname of the pharaoh Amenhotep, and I was looking it up too, and also I guess translates to peace.
Interesting.
Like yeah,
peace. And it says in the film, it says like king.
yes,
Ruler.
yes, ruler, yes.
Yeah.
And then they show the definition of Bubba, and the definition of Bubba,
Country boy. Hick.
redneck,
Good old boy.
trailer park resident.
And then they start the film with
Yeah.
the title of Bubba Ho-Tep.
Yep. Just a great way to start.
Really
a
good
movie.
way to jump on in.
Just to set the tone for the movie. It's like
Yeah.
this is a comedy, guys. Get ready.
Yeah.
And so then we open up and we see like we see Bruce Campbell as Elvis Presley, and he's like in his bed and he's kind of just like moving around and whatnot. And like the first like 10 minutes of this movie is just him in his room.
And for the record, it's not just like his room. He has a roommate. He's in an old folks' home. It is what is it called? Okay, so they are in the town of Mud Creek,
Texas, yeah, in East Texas, and it's the
Shady Rest.
Yes, Shady Rest is the name of this senior citizens home. And
Yeah.
what a great name for a senior home.
So we have old ass Bruce Campbell lying in bed, just being
and Bruce
like,
Campbell isn't even that old. He's just made up really
Oh, yeah,
old in
yeah.
this movie. You know, I think like what? He's probably in his 50s, early 50s,
No,
probably.
I
or
don't-
like late
I don't
40s.
even know.
I don't know, but he wasn't like
He's
they,
ageless.
They make him look like he's 90 something
yeah,
in this movie.
And for the record, his old makeup doesn't even go up all the way on his forehead.
no, you can like see like you can see where the wig like starts on his forehead, and then
then
it's
there's,
just
like,
like
his
makeup.
skin
yeah,
and then makeup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So he's tossing and turning, kind of wakes up and is like, oh, what?
And he's talking about like his pecker a lot.
Oh yeah. He narrates the entire.
He has a
film.
growth on his pecker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is some kind of pussy wart.
Yeah, on his penis
Yeah.
for you kids who don't know what pecker means.
And sometimes it pops when he whacks off.
Yeah.
He says.
Wax on, wax off.
And he looks over at his roommate, who is also in bed because it's an old folks home.
Yeah.
And the roommate is just like dying.
He just jolts up. He's like,
And is like looking at Bruce Campbell and reaching out, and Bruce is just like, God damn it again.
yep. He basically dies, and then so there's that.
It does take him a while to die. It takes
does.
him like
It takes
two
like good like
jolts up.
Yeah. Takes him like a good like the first like 5 minutes of the movie for him to die.
Yeah.
Then we see like this old lady like kind of walking around Shady Rest.
Yeah,
And
good old Shady Rest.
Yeah, and she's like walking around. And she sees like she sees this other lady in the iron lung. For all you other kids out there who don't know what an iron lung is, look it up. Because it's hard to kind of paint you a mental picture.
I
of
can
it.
paint you a mental picture.
All right, there you
It's
go.
a
Paint us a mental picture of an iron lung, Remy.
It is a submarine so small that you only have your head sticking out of. I don't know how I came up with that so quick, but that is exactly what it is, and it breathes
improv
for you.
training. Yay.
Yeah,
And it helps you breathe, and basically. And so this lady, she walks up to the iron lung lady, and she just basically takes her glasses. It's like mine now.
Yeah.
I need to see like what a dick.
and she was wearing glasses before. I don't think she needed those.
No.
because then she
If
proceeds.
you're old and you don't have glasses, you probably don't need glasses.
Yeah. So she takes the glasses and then walks down the hallway and takes some cookies and flowers that were sitting next to a
That
door.
fucking bitch.
This lady's just like, just picking up from all these other people.
Yeah, and then she like goes to her bed or whatever, and then this big ass cockroach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're introduced like this big ass cockroach. Well, actually, it's not a cockroach. It's a
Okay, we'll get there.
We'll get that. Yeah.
So she's laying in
Sorry,
bed.
almost
She-
spoiled the movie for you
Spooky
guys.
music starts playing. She hears a, and
Yes.
she looks and she sees just like the glimpse of something crawl under her bed, and
Oh,
she's
shit.
like, oh my stars, and then here's a. So she looks again and sees it like crawl up the side of her bed, and she's like, what? Nothing's been in my bed except for me for years. And then and it's like crawling up her leg, so she's starting to freak out. So she reaches her hand down like towards her leg, and then she screams, "Ah!" And then reaches her hand out of the blankets, and it's covered in blood. So this thing just like ate the fuck out of her hand. So she
That was
freaks
a
out.
beautiful, just kind of rundown of what happened there.
Yeah. So she
I wish I had a camera on Remy right now just to see like this. He basically just did a whole Broadway performance for me.
Thank you. I like to thank the Academy and all of my
you're not
acting
getting any
training.
Tonys for that. No.
Yeah. Okay, fine. All right. I'm sure this lady didn't either.
Moving right along.
So she rolls out of bed, ka-thump, and I'm surprised she didn't break a hip or do I can't get up joke. And then she sees that it's still in her blankets, so she takes her cane, which is luckily right next to her, and starts just whacking at it.
Oh yeah, and then it like turns into like the cockroach like pops out like this little head out of its cockroach body.
Yeah.
and then becomes a fucking zombie.
A giant man.
Yeah.
For the record, JG and I were making this joke being like, I'm the cockroach man. And he said it's like some old Batman villain.
From like the 1950s, at like one issue, it's like Cockroach Man, and everybody's like, that villain sucked. I'm like, well, we tried something. Let's try Calendar Man now.
Yeah. So once Cockroach Man actually became a man, we're like, hey, there he is.
But he goes back to his cockroach state soon after.
Right.
As we'll see.
Right.
So she dies.
Yeah, for the record, this Cockroach Man looks like an undead zombie cowboy,
Yeah, like if anybody has played Red Dead Redemption, he looks like John Marston.
but like bones.
Yeah.
Them bones.
Them dry bones. So then, the lady gets herself to Bruce Campbell's Elvis's like doorway.
So she just crawled the whole way, I guess.
And he looks at her and is like, "What?" She's like, "Help me!" And then like is dragged away from the door. Awesome horror moment.
Yeah.
Classic moment. And then she's basically dead.
And then and then possibly my favorite characters show up, which are the two like dead people attendants. I don't know what that job title is.
They're employees of this rest home.
Yeah.
And and they're just, as you will find out through the whole movie, they're really shitty at their jobs.
Yeah, and they kind of hate it, and they're always like bickering at each other.
Yeah.
It's just like these two like middle-aged white guys just being like, "Oh, this one's dead. Put
Time
it
to
in
clean
the,
that
put it in
up."
the hearse." Yeah.
And so then we're introduced to the dying guy who's Elvis's roommate. We're introduced to his daughter, which she's not that important. She's only in this one scene, so we're not going to make too big a deal out of this. Except that she
No, it gives rise to something in Bruce Campbell. Ayo!
So she like leans over at one point. She's like cleaning up her dad's stuff, and she leans over at one point and shows like the very bottom of her underpants.
She so she's like this blonde woman with
She's really attractive.
with this tiny top and tiny skirt.
Yeah, mini skirt.
And she goes into her father's drawers, not like that, but into his cabinet drawers, and finds photographs of him from the war, and then takes out his Purple Heart medal.
And she's totally gonna fucking trash the Purple Heart.
She straight up just does.
Yeah.
And then Bruce is like, "Whoa there, lady." Because remember, Bruce
Oh, there,
is
lady.
just Elvis. So he's like, Can I just have one of those as a memory, baby? Pretty mama.
Yeah, so he takes a photograph and the Purple Heart, because who the fuck throws out a Purple Heart?
Right. Like, even if it's not mine, I'd be like, whoa, can I just like have that though? That's cool.
That's the highest honor, that you can get.
For being shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as she takes it out, she's like, "Sure, here you go," and like gives it to him, and then turns around and like does something away from him, and then bends over.
She bends over, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bruce has like an inner monologue being like, "I know that I couldn't have been sexually attractive to her, so I was of no threat, but damn, pretty mama, I could get a look." And he like looks, and he says something being like, "My pecker got a flutter like a dying dove." And even though it was just a dying dove, that's more action it's seen in years. and then that's kind of the end of the scene.
So many great lines in this movie.
Yeah,
It's
it's really good.
amazing. Like, part of me feels like Bruce Campbell actually was just improvising a lot of this, and it's like, I'm just gonna go off and do my own. 'Cause
Yeah.
Bruce Campbell seems the type of person who knows way too much about Elvis Presley.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he does.
Yeah.
Of course, can you really know too much about Elvis Presley?
Not enough, man.
No, not enough. Oh, there, mama. And so then we're introduced to the sassy nurse.
Oh, yeah. Sassy Nurse is awesome. So I felt like I've seen her in something else.
I couldn't find, when I looked up on IMDb, I could not find her. Like, I don't even think she had like a picture on IMDb. So it's like this is the only movie she did, I think.
But she's this like sassy, like, nah, honey type lady.
Yeah.
What was it that Bruce Campbell said to her that made her sass up? It was, because she called him by his real name, which was...
Sebastian Haft.
Well, okay, real in air quotes, because he goes, don't call me that. I don't go by that. I'm Elvis Presley.
So we're under the impression when the movie starts that it's this guy, this senile old guy who like used to be an Elvis impersonator, but now he like thinks he is actually Elvis Presley. Then he proceeds to tell us that he is actually the Elvis Presley. And what happened was that he, like, it was put into, like, witness protection or whatever, and so he...
had to have a body double.
Yes. So he switched bodies with a guy named Sebastian Haft, who was an Elvis impersonator. Which, by the way, when they show the scene for that, it's amazing because it's just Bruce Campbell and Bruce Campbell in the same scene together.
So Elvis rides up in his car with all of his buddies.
With his posse, yeah.
And then he gets out and goes up to Sebastian Haft's like stage door, knocks on it, opens it up. Bruce Campbell as Sebastian Haft and Bruce Campbell as Elvis meet for the first time, and Sebastian Haft is just like semi out of makeup, does have the hair, does have the mutton chops,
and the suit.
He's
and
wearing the like
jumpsuit,
studded, bedazzled suit, and he's eating like blueberry pie. So he's got like
that's right.
so he's got like blueberry pie on the side of his face, and he sees Elvis Presley walk in, and he's like, "Oh, you're the king." Oh, and he gets down on his knees and kisses Elvis's ring, and then they exchange like a little look, and then out walks Elvis, but he's got blueberry pie on his face,
so
we know it's Sebastian Haft.
Yeah,
and he gets in the car with his croonies, and he's like, "What? Why don't you?" And there's even a moment where he goes to get in the car, and he goes to open up the door, and his buddy's like, "Whoa, you never do that. I do that for you." And he's like, "Whoa, I totally forgot."
You know, take the show on the road now, man.
And all that stuff. So we are under the impression now that he is actually Elvis Presley, and they don't really even they don't even explain it anymore. Like it's up to interpretation. I think. But I think he's actually Elvis Presley.
I think he is too.
Yeah. Why not?
Because also, doesn't Sebastian Haft die in a freak barbecue accident?
No, Sebastian Haft dies like how Elvis actually died on the toilet.
Oh.
But Elvis, going back to normal life, accidentally set his trailer on fire.
Okay, so that was not Sebastian Haft dying.
No, that was Elvis.
I misinterpreted that.
Yeah, no. He so Elvis is like living the good life now as Sebastian, undercover. Was still having his fucking hairdo and sunglasses, clearly not hiding the fact that he's actually
just
Elvis
being
Presley.
Elvis,
and so he just dumps like a shit ton of kerosene onto a barbecue.
He's like frying up some hot dogs,
Yeah.
having a party outside of all of these trailers, being a good old Bubba, and then all the trailers blow up because he spilled the kerosene and shit.
Yeah, he just walks away from it and just
Yeah.
He's like, oh damn.
Oh, mama.
And so then now we're back to present day. And the nurse makes like some joke. The sassy nurse makes some joke about like, I'll be back to do that thing that we gotta do.
And we were thinking that it was a catheter joke at first.
Yeah, well, I initially thought it was a hand job joke. And then I thought, oh, it's a catheter joke.
What was happening there?
I don't know.
Because she rubbed that thing for a while.
There is some weird sexual tension between like that nurse and Elvis.
Yeah.
It's weird. But we'll like that happens. We get back to that later. But first, before we get back to the nurse like doing whatever she does to Elvis, we meet President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, as portrayed by Ozzie Smith. They dyed me this color.
Yep.
He's like, because he's like, I'm JFK. And Elvis is like, JFK is a white man, right? It's like, well, they just dyed me this color.
Yep. I mean, I have no argument with that.
Anyway, you slice it or dice it, I guess. Like, they never say with him either if he's actually JFK, if that's actually happened, or if he's just an old crazy man.
I think the fact that he said that his brain was switched with a sandbag, I believe less his JFK character and believe more Bruce's Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, we got two guys who say they are one thing and everybody else doesn't believe them.
Right.
So-
But
Who you believe is up to you, viewers.
But the biggest focus is this weird big bitch cockroach, as Bruce Campbell will say. So what, before I skip over too much, Brucey is taking a nap?
Right, and he like because remember he gets up. It's middle of the night. He's sleeping, and then he gets up and he takes like the bedpan out from under his bed,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'll make it to the bathroom this time."
Yep.
You know, and he gets up and he goes to the bathroom.
He gets to his walker, and he has bedpan and walker, and he's like trying to get there.
Right, yeah, and and then we see the big bitch the cockroach.
Yeah,
you know,
he turns on his like shitty ass heater as well.
Right,
it's one of those like big metal, like I don't know why popcorn dome is the word that I was about to say, but I'm sure that makes sense to everybody.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
one of those old school heaters that look like a steel like rotating fan, but instead there's just a hot metal coil that just heats up and blasts you in the face because it's turned towards you.
Yeah,
that's it. So he turns that on as he's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, and he and then when he comes back from the bathroom, he sees this cockroach.
Yeah.
You know, and then they start to,
and he has a tussle with it.
He has it's a full on fight with his cockroach.
Yeah,
like he covers it with the bedpan at one point,
and he like scoots it up to the wall. Like, you know how you like catch a big ass spider with a cup, and then you're like, fuck, what do I don't have any paper, so I'll just move to the wall, and then I'll figure it out from there. Scoot it across the room to get to a piece of paper. So he puts it on the wall, and then like pulls it away from the wall,
and the cockroach isn't there.
Gone.
Yeah.
And then it does this camera angle where you see that it's in the bedpan.
Yeah.
So then Bruce like flips it over and it's just there and it jumps at him and he's like, whoa. And I thought it was going to do like a face sucker thing, but it doesn't. Instead, it just like scratches him up a bit.
And then Elvis pulls out his sweet, sweet karate moves.
Oh, yeah. For the record, this is something that we looked up too because I've heard too many Elvis with karate jokes. Actual Elvis Presley was a black belt in karate. So,
that is so fucking cool.
So not only was this dude the king of rock, this dude was the king of karate.
Karate?
Karate.
Yeah.
King of karate. That's how. Wait, is it just karate for everybody? I thought once you hit black belt, it's karate because you're the king of karate.
No, it's you learn karate.
Oh,
no matter what.
Well, I learned some other weird shit. So,
I thought you were just making a really awesome pun. But that works too.
General misunderstanding.
Oh, well, okay then. Moving right along.
All right.
So and then he takes his takes something. I guess. His cane.
It was a fork.
A fork, yeah. And
it's a weird 2-pronged fork that he just had by his bedside.
And he stabs the cockroach, and then he says, "Never, never, fuck with the king."
And he does such a good Elvis.
Oh, like, yeah. His Elvis is fucking amazing.
We said before that he is a perfect Elvis, but he is a perfect Elvis.
Yeah. And then we, like, for whatever reason, he goes into JFK's room. And we see
which is
like it is like
inside of the White House.
Well, it looks like the bedroom of the White House, but it also is like an obsessed person's like fucked up room because he has like miniatures of the assassination, and he has like, you know, pictures of Lee Harvey Oswald and other assailants and accomplices with that. You know, it's really weird.
It's like mugshots and like propaganda, or not propaganda, conspiracy.
It's really weird. But we do know that whoever this man is, he is at least obsessed with John Fitzgerald Kennedy.
Yeah.
You know. And so basically that's that, you know. And
also just when he walks into the room, he sees JFK just like dead in the corner of the room.
Like, yeah, he's just like taken out on the floor for whatever. It's
so then Elvis like walks up and he's like, hey, Mr. President. It's like he's just asleep on the floor because he's an old dude.
Yeah. And then so now we get back to the nurse is like basically the nurse is like applying a cream to Elvis's penis because he has that growth on his penis and it's supposed to help the penis.
For the record, this is like the morning after or whatever.
Yeah. And then he gets a boner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she's rubbing his weird little pussy thing at the end of his pecker for a while.
And he has some like flash, yeah.
Yeah. I think this is the first time that this happens, is that Elvis is suffering from this weird mental flashback thing.
Yeah.
Where he's getting like glimpses of the future, glimpses of the past, and then it stops on a glimpse of that ass shot that we got of his dead roommate's daughter.
Right.
And then the lady's still rubbing the tip of his pecker. And then she goes,
oh my. You were really big for an old man, you know.
And then he like smiles and she like leaves because it's
no,
awkward.
she's like, you should take a cold shower. And he says, why don't you hop in there with me, baby? She's like, you should be ashamed of yourself.
But she kind of gives like a little flirty wink. I mean, she's sassy nurse.
And she leaves.
Yeah. So she leaves.
And he just keeps
He's
looking
smiling.
at her.
Yeah, he keeps like
He's, like,
lifting
taking
up
peeks at
his
it.
blankets and being like, yeah, I still got it. And for the record, just if you know Bruce Campbell and you're familiar with his face, imagine him with like 10 pounds of makeup making him look like an old man staring at his own dick
And
in
an
bed.
Elvis wig.
Yeah, and an Elvis wig. Oh, and he has the best Elvis sunglasses.
Yes,
It's like
but-
something that you got from like a discount Halloween store.
Yeah, like they just went to the spirit store and just like, here, these glasses will work. There's like these shitty
It, like,
plastic
came with the
sunglasses.
wig.
Yeah. You know, it's great. I want a pair for my own.
Yep, same.
For my own, I want a pair for myself. Yeah, and
Myself and my own, and my
myself and my
children,
own.
and my children's children. We will all be Elvis. Let the legacy live on. Oh shit. We can make it happen, John.
we can make it happen. Let the legacy live on.
All right.
Moving along. So then it's the middle of the night and Elvis is sleeping, and then JFK wakes him up because he hears a noise.
Oh,
And it's like the little.
He hears a.
Yeah, it's the little cockroach, you know. Well, I mean the big ass, the big ass bitch.
The big bitch cockroach,
Big bitch
as
cockroach.
Elvis said.
And but JFK goes off about like he thinks there's an assassin in the building that's gonna kill Lyndon Johnson. You know, even though Lyndon Baines Johnson has been dead for years by this point. And
I don't know. They could have dyed him black too.
I guess so. No, but Johnson actually died of like natural causes. You know, he
Sure.
wasn't shot in the head.
Sure. Says you.
I can't argue that. I did say it. JFK brings Elvis to the bathroom where they find, like the visitor's bathroom, where they find hieroglyphs on the wall, like carved into the wall.
Like graffiti style. Like some
Yeah.
punk wrote this, but it's hieroglyphics.
And JFK, like, he's like, I decoded this. I know what this says. The first line reads, Pharaoh gobbles donkey goobers. And then the second line reads, Cleopatra does the nasty. Which that second line is very accurate.
Well,
she
she
fucked a
does.
lot of powerful men to get power for herself.
Yep.
And she was a badass, and she was awesome.
Also, donkey goobers are great too.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was somewhere in
I'm
history.
sure pharaohs loved donkey goobers. You know, I know reading in the Bible about Ramesses, you know, eating all the donkey goobers.
Yep,
While
yep.
Moses was telling him to let his people go.
Yeah, and he's like, I can't. I'm too busy with all these piles of donkey goobers.
Gotta
You
eat.
gotta give me like a month until I'm done with these donkey goobers. And Moses is
Before
like,
I can even think about
"Dude."
it, it's like, dude, you know what? God's just gonna give you the all these curses and everything. So,
Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm eating all these donkey goobers.
all right, well, just be prepared for locusts and your firstborn son's dying.
What?
And floods.
can't hear you
And all right, you know what? Fuck you, Ramesses. Fuck you. I'm gonna save my people and part the goddamn Red Sea. Sorry, God. I meant the G-damn Red Sea.
Oh, that was heavy. What?
That was a fun little bit we did there.
Classic donkey gibbs.
Back to the movie.
Yeah, sorry.
JFK.
Donkey goobers are great.
Yeah, JFK reveals that someone is stealing souls. There's this Egyptian pharaoh who's stealing souls from the residents, but he says that it's like he tried to steal it from my asshole. And you can only steal souls from someone. You can only steal someone's soul through any orifice of the body.
Major orifice.
Any major orifice. But in the entire movie, they only focus on the asshole.
He so when he said when he broke the news to Elvis, he sort of said like he lied down and had me sit on his face, and Elvis is like, "What?" He's trying to eat your shit, and he's like, "No, he's trying to eat my soul." And Elvis is like, I don't get it. And then he explains the whole major orifice thing.
Oh, this movie is
Yeah.
wild.
It's so good. It's such a gem.
So then the nurse, she like discovers like this electrical shortage at this shed in the backyard.
She's on her break.
Yeah.
It's late at night. She's outside.
Taking
she's
a smoke.
outside, like having a smoke, just like it's her break. It's just like
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden from outside, and then we see like this other side room that's not connected to like the actual old folks home. It's like a different section of it.
Yeah.
And it's like flickering on and off, so she starts to walk towards it. And then out of nowhere, straight from behind her, some old-ass white guy is just right next to her, and it's really fucking scary.
Yeah.
And why would you do that to anyone in the middle of the
There's
night?
an electric shortage, and he says, "Don't tell anybody about it," and just leaves.
Yeah, because I guess that's management for
Yeah.
you.
You know, it is shady shady rest, you know.
I like shady rags. That's pretty good.
I was going to say rest shady, but
Well, that's what you do at this place.
right, yeah.
Yeah, so she's
So,
like,
yeah.
well, shit.
Shit.
Oh,
And then we see
the dude says, leave it alone because somebody else needs their butt wiped or something.
Yeah.
Or like their catheter removed or
Yeah.
some other gross thing that you have to do at
I
this
think it was
job.
butt wiped.
And she goes like, well, let me finish my damn cigarette.
Yeah, fuck off. And then he walks away, he leaves, and then she sees like this zombie. The
Yeah.
zombie we saw at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And for like a quick second, and then he disappeared, and she was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And then we cut to Elvis looking through this. JFK was telling Elvis about like this book they have to look at called "Everyday Man or Women's Book of Souls." And Elvis is like looking through it, and he just like is looking at the pictures. He's not even reading.
Right.
He's looking at the pictures. And he's like, "Oh, the son of a bitch."
he straight up says, he like flips a page and he goes, damn, that's an ugly man. And just
Yeah.
flips to the next page.
He's like, damn, shit, And then JFK is like,
Did you read the book?
"Did you read the book?" He's like,
yeah, baby."
Yeah, I'm reading it. It's like, "Would you like a ding dong?" I mean, not mine, but I mean, a chocolate ding dong.
Which
Well,
would also
I
be-
guess actually that'd also be me. I mean, it's like no, I don't like those. It's like, well, do you like a Baby Ruth? It's like, yeah, I'll have a Baby Ruth. So, there's just something so American about Elvis Presley, Bruce Campbell playing Elvis Presley,
Eating a Baby Ruth.
eating a Baby Ruth. Oh, sweet, sweet patriotism, man.
It's America. Mama.
And so then we talk more about how this Egyptian mummy is like eating the souls of the elderly, but they're small souls. So like he needs big souls to eat. Right.
So that's why this location is perfect for him to keep haunting.
Right. Because it's just a bunch. He can.
It's
just
a bunch
keep
of
eating
small
and
souls.
eating and eating.
It's like a free buffet that you just like, oh, I'll have a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah,
I never
I'll
really
have,
get full. I'll
yeah.
take a nap in between, then come back for seconds and still lick the plate clean.
Jesus
Boom. Sorry, I got really into that.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. Poetry in motion.
Yeah. And then they start talking about how like they poop out, like this soul sucker poops out souls.
Yeah, because they were thinking like, does he need souls to get somewhere? And then JFK's like, nah, he just poops them out. And then Elvis is like, oh, that makes sense why he was graffitiing up the bathroom. So it's like he's literally eating the food, soul food,
Right.
soul food,
Soul food.
Southern comfort.
Yeah.
And then goes into the bathroom, poops out, and then writes a little tagline on the wall saying "Donkey Goobers" and
Cleopatra does the dirty.
yeah.
And then the mummy, who is the zombie we've been talking about, comes into the old folks' home, and Elvis comes face to face with the mummy, and like Elvis
I gotta
gets all
bring
these-
it back for a little second.
Fine, do that.
Because they have a little lunch scene where they're all in their old folks' home.
Oh, fuck
lunch,
yeah.
And they're all hanging out, and we get to see the other characters that we don't ever see for the rest of the movie. And they have
Except
straight
one
up,
guy.
They have straight up Kemosabe,
Yeah.
Just like with the Lone Ranger mask on and a white cowboy hat. And he's got 2 toy guns. And he's like firing at his food and like firing at everybody else in the room.
Like, I'm the sheriff in these parts.
Yep.
Pew, pew, pew.
And
pew,
and I
pew.
think Elvis like makes some comment being like, well,
that's
looks like
Kimasabe
it's
over
just
there.
me, Kimasabe, and JFK.
Yeah. That's Kimasabe over there. He's my best friend here. You
Yep.
know? And
So then back to
so back to
it's
then like
nighttime again.
nighttime again, and Elvis comes face to face with the mummy, who somehow gets into the old folks' home,
yeah.
and the mummy just like sees him, and he's like, "Ugh," and like puts all these images into Elvis's head, where he sees this bridge and this bus, and the bus is crashing and all this stuff, and it's really weird. You
And
don't
then,
know what the hell's going
like it's
on.
a really quick flashes. Like he even sees parts of like Elvis's life and
yeah, like you
there's
really
a lot
don't know
of
what's
things
going
that you
on,
see shooting at you.
and so it is
It's
kind of
actually
like
really well done. I
No,
feel like
yeah,
you take
'cause,
away
like-
all of the important parts that are shown to you, but all the important parts are like so quick.
Yeah, but it's still like it's really well done because it's well done because they follow through on it at the end. And it's like, oh, I
what
get
all
this
that was.
now,
Yeah.
and we'll get to that. But all you need to know is that like he sees this bridge and this bus, and the bus like falling off the bridge. That's all you need to know for right now. So then the mummy like keeps walking down. He starts like trying to find other souls to suck, and then Kimasabe comes up behind the mummy.
And he's just like in
Pulls
his
out his-
pajamas, still has the mask, the cowboy hat,
The 10-gallon cowboy hat, and pulls out his fake
his
shooters,
6 shooters, yeah.
and he just starts shooting at
And
the
there's
mummy.
like this awesome epic Ennio Morricone would be proud for the soundtrack.
Oh
that
yeah,
just, like, happens
Sergio
during-
Leone would be proud
Yeah.
for like for the filming of it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's just like straight up the most intense cowboy walking down a hallway, pulls out a gun, pow, pulls out his other gun, pow, reloads, pow, and he's still just like
Yeah.
walking, and the mummy is like not affected at all
Because he's not
they're
actually
toy
shooting
guns, and he's an
people,
old
yeah.
man in a retirement home, just
Yeah.
walking at him.
and then poor Kimasabe gets a heart attack.
And like the mummy actually didn't do shit to him.
No, he just walks out. He
Yeah.
leaves, and the Kimasabe gets a heart attack and dies.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. Like JFK and Elvis are like actually mourning his death.
I just love that at this. I love that at this point in the story, we can just say like, "Oh yeah, Kimasabe, Elvis Presley, and JFK. They
Right.
were all sad that this cowboy died."
Yeah,
I mean, Kimasabe is the cowboy.
and Elvis Presley like over the narration is like, Kimasabe, he perished from this Bubba Ho-Tep.
Yeah, I think that's the first time that they drop it.
It's
is
the only time
Bubba
they say
Ho-Tep.
Bubba
Yeah,
Ho-Tep,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like, all right,
No,
and
he
the
said-
movie.
later.
Oh, he
but
does.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
well, it's like, all right, he did the thing, and the movie, we're
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
know. But I'm glad it's still continuing.
So like the paramedics and the faculty of this retirement home are all surrounding Kimasabe's corpse, and they're asking Elvis and JFK what happened, and that's when Elvis says like, I saw him. Kimasabe went out like a brave cowboy that he is, and I saw him fire off 24 rounds straight at this mummy. He did not stop. And they're like, okay, so Kimasabe was firing rounds at a mummy,
And he
you're
died.
Elvis, and that's JFK. And he's like, yeah, baby.
Yeah, pretty mama. And but then so then we see the 2 employees from earlier, like they're carrying out Kimasabe on the stretcher.
Whoops, I forgot that was his body.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
And they straight up drop him into a fucking rose bush. Like they trip and they fall and they drop the body. Like, oh shit,
So one like dips down. He's like, I've got it, and he like gets in the rose bush, and he's like, ow, 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 and he like gets the body. He's like, quick, let's be settled, and they pull it out. And I think it was a beautiful filming accident where like part of the rose bush was stuck to the body.
Right.
So when he finally like gains his composure, and they're both like holding him regularly, he's like, be cool, and then like tosses off a rose bush that was just stuck to it. And then they get him into the hearse, and then spray him down with some deodorant, and then
Yep.
let him go.
Like, let him go.
Yep.
And then we see Elvis is like, he's investigating. He is going to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
What happened, because nobody else believes him. So he's going to check it out. And he checks out like the door that the mummy transferred through.
Oh yeah, because when Kimasabe died, the mummy walks away, and Bruce Campbell,
Walks through a
Elvis,
door.
just witnessed the mummy just like phase through the front
Yeah,
door.
so he's like, he checks the door. He's like, well, how could he get through that? You know? and
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. I mean, good question. Good question.
And he decides to just go down the side of a hill.
Which I like to call steep ass hill. For the record, Elvis can't walk at all, so he's just got like a walker, and he like looks down this hill and he's like, all right. And just like starts trekking down this hill. And they spend like a solid
And he
minute.
He tumbles down that hill.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
also, to note, he has like this trench coat on, so he looks like he's like this detective right now.
Still wearing
trying to-
pajamas,
Yeah.
but like trench coat over it.
Yeah, like trying to find, get,
He's
solve
gonna
the case.
get the dirt.
And so he comes down to the bottom of the hill, and then we see the
bridge.
bridge from his visions.
Yeah.
And then he looks into the water, and he sees a
The
bus
license.
license plate.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh shit. Shit's starting to come together. I don't know how it relates to the mummy, but it's coming together.
But at least it's in that series of giant flashes that we all just like,
Right.
yeah.
So then he goes back to his room, having found all that stuff.
Chuck! That's what I keep trying to figure out what it relates to. Have you ever seen Chuck? That TV show?
No.
Listeners, have you ever seen Chuck?
Call in. Our lines are open.
Yeah. So in Chuck, it's about this like nerdy tech dude, and he gets like this knowledge.
Right. I know what the show's about.
Okay,
you know?
sure. But the way that they show it is that he'll see something that reminds him of Spy Life, and then he goes and like sees everything at once. And they film it exactly in that same way. So if you have seen Chuck,
Or it's like
that
That's
is
So
how.
Raven, where it's the future she can see.
Yeah, but I haven't seen that, so.
Listeners, have you seen That's So Raven? That's
No!
right. Fuck you, Remy. Hey, moving on. So,
Wait, with Raven Simone?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
Moving
Okay, moving on.
on. So he's back in his. Elvis goes back to his room and he turns on the TV, which we didn't know he had a TV this entire time.
Right, because why was he sitting watching his old roommate die?
When he
just
could have
being
been
like,
watching TV.
Oh, this is the most entertainment I'll get.
Right. So he turns on the TV and there's like this 24-hour Elvis movie marathon. Like you can see every single one of Elvis's movies. And Elvis
He's
is watching
doing
it.
action.
Yeah.
He's getting all the ladies.
Right.
He's surfing blue Hawaii.
And then Elvis is just sitting there going like, shitty pictures. Every single one of them. Shitty.
So does that mean that what's the double's name?
You mean Sebastian?
Sebastian, yeah. So is that Sebastian who was in those films, and that's why Elvis was mad about it?
No, because Elvis made those movies. Like, I'm assuming Elvis switched out, with his body, with Sebastian in probably around 76, 77, around
So
the time Elvis
post-films,
died.
yeah.
Elvis made all of his movies like in the 50s.
Oh, that
Yeah.
makes so much sense now.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
because he's like so mad about the movies that he made. He's like, shitty, all of them.
Yeah.
Probably because he didn't get to do karate in them.
Yeah.
Who knows? And so then we get to, I forget how we get to this, but maybe I think JFK comes into.
Well, after he investigates everything, which is the bridge, the bus license plate, he's like, "Oh, I think I get it now." And then apparently just climbs up that steep ass hill,
Right.
and then just ends
And
up.
that's how we're into the
in his
movie
room
marathon.
again.
Yeah. But then JFK reveals that years ago they were having like this mummy exhibition, like a lesser known mummy, and
Elvis straight up says, "Like King Tut," and JFK goes, "No, more like King Tut's brother." And it's like, okay, sure, whatever.
right, yeah, and some thieves try to steal the mummy.
Because it was
And-
traveling either by train or by plane, I think he says.
Yeah,
But he ends up
But they
with train.
steal him in a bus, and
Yeah.
then the mummy somehow like the mummy had no name, right? It was put in a sarcophagus, and it was called Ho-Tep because it had like no name or whatnot.
Right. So
You
we
know.
knew it was a pharaoh. We knew it was a king, so it was a Ho-Tep.
Yeah. So then they put the bus flies off the bridge somehow, like it drives off into the bridge and into the river, and then it opened the sarcophagus, which then released the curse
Right.
of the mummy.
So now he's gonna steal souls
Yes,
to like
because
stay alive.
I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those
So,
horror movie things
yeah.
where you just accept it.
you accept it.
Yeah.
And so JFK and Elvis decide to
Like, they're going to take this shit down.
Yeah, and they decide to sleep during the day because he only attacks at night.
Yeah.
Right, because JFK says he's one of those nighttime guys, you know?
Yeah.
And so he only attacks at night, so they're going to sleep during the day, and then JFK's going to, like, get extra coffee to drink, you know?
Sure. Which they never show him doing it, so I don't think that he ever did that, because that comes back later. Either that or he's just old.
Yeah. And then Elvis kind of seems like he doesn't want to do it, and then JFK's like, well, I'm going to do it then. And then Elvis, like, he rattles with himself. Then he picks up the phone. And he calls JFK.
And you see JFK pick up a red phone.
And it's also the red phone next to a manila folder that says M, mummy. You know?
Yeah.
And Elvis says, ask not what your rest home can do for you. Ask what you can do for your rest home. Let's take care of business.
Yeah. Dude, great Elvis.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So then they... Then they have like a dramatic walk down the hallway, you know, but it's fucking
so
like
good. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's Elvis walking down with a walker, and it's like doing that slow motion walk where you have that music that's like banana, 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 banana. It's straight up Led Zeppelin. But it wasn't in the movie. And it's like rounding the corner is Elvis Presley with a walker, and then JFK in an electric wheelchair and black. So it was a really good slow crawl.
Yeah, it's really funny.
It would have, oh shit. It would have been really funny if it wasn't in slow motion and they're just that slow. I'm surprised that they didn't pull that joke.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's almost there.
so they set the trap, right? They set the trap that they're going to spring on the mummy.
Which is that Elvis had pulled like one of those old school exterminator poison pumps from the exterminator closet or whatever.
Right.
And then grabs
You have
bottles
one
of...
every old folks home, an exterminator closet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you exterminate all those guys at some point. Okay, too dark.
Too dark.
So Elvis also grabs rubbing alcohol, I believe, and then finds a barrel of gasoline.
Yes.
To add on top of it. So that's what they fill in the exterminator pump.
Yes.
And then they also have a pair of scissors, and they also have matches and a Zippo.
Yes.
I think that's it. Did I remember all of the things they grabbed?
I remembered none of that, so...
Great. So that's what they grabbed, because JFK straight up goes, I know where the alarm for the front door is, because all of us old folks keep trying to get out, and they set an alarm because we're old folks. So JFK and Elvis go with a pair of scissors. It's like a little montage as they're leaving. So Elvis goes and snips the security system correctly, apparently. I kind of wish it wasn't.
Because he's just that badass.
Yeah. So he just snips the security, so then they go out the front door like it's nothing. And they go out to where they think Bubba Ho-Tep is going to appear.
Yeah, and then they're like, okay, we got to split up and get into our position, so I'll go over there, you stay over here.
Yeah.
And then when JFK is leaving, Elvis goes, I just got one question for you. Marilyn Monroe, what was she like in the sack?
Well, I can't tell you that because it's top secret, classified. But because it's just you and me, I'll just say, wow. And then he rides off into the night on his electric wheelchair.
What a great exchange there.
Yeah.
So then Bubba Ho-Tep appears, and then he disappears as JFK falls asleep. You know, and
well, it's JFK is looking in the direction, and it's all from Elvis's perspective. So
Yeah.
Elvis is like staring in the distance, and he sees Bubba Ho-Tep coming, and he's like, "Oh shit, it's Bubba Ho-Tep!" So he reaches down, starts pumping up the exterminator pump, and then looks back up, and he's gone, and looks over at JFK, and JFK is just asleep because he's an old dude.
right, he forgot to drink his coffee, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's like, oh god, and then Elvis makes his way over to JFK to try to wake him up, and then Bubba Ho-Tep appears behind a tree behind Elvis and like springs towards Elvis, and they tussle a bit, you know, and
Elvis sprays him with the gas, hits him with the lighter, the Zippo, lights him on fire, and then Bubba Ho-Tep runs away, falls over. Actually, that's when we get to see JFK wake up, right?
Well, no, because Bubba Ho-Tep actually, so they tussle, and then Bubba attacks JFK, throwing him off his scooter, and then Elvis gets on the scooter, and then like...
yeah, because that's post the Zippo. Because he ditches the Zippo right after that.
Right, right, and then he races to Bubba and he douses him with the oil and then lights him on fire, and then he like kind of goes away.
Sizzles out, yeah.
Yeah, because remember, Bubba Ho-Tep attacks JFK and like kind of leaves him for dead.
Yeah,
almost.
yeah.
He leaves him for dead, and so then Elvis goes to JFK, and JFK hands him a little piece of paper, and then he says, "You got to take care of business." And then Elvis says, "That's right, man. We're going to TCB."
Good old Elvis.
And JFK dies then.
Yeah.
And then Elvis like sees Bubba Ho-Tep is starting to get back up then because he didn't die from the first firing. And he reads this really like shitty poem that came from the Book of Souls.
Because I thought because he pulls it out, and I thought it was going to be like this incantation that just immediately sends Bubba Ho-Tep back into Egypt hell.
That's what it was supposed to be, I think, you know.
Right.
And it's just like this really shitty poem where none of the words rhyme and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And Elvis is like, "That was all you could fucking do with that goddamn book? It didn't even rhyme, goddammit."
Yep. So
And
then
so-
Bubba Ho-Tep is like escaping and going back down to the waterfront down steep ass hill.
Yeah, and then Elvis gets on the scooter and he just
JFK's
plows.
scooter.
Yeah.
And so when he gets on the scooter, he's like, that's when he does the "let's take care of business," and he does like a full throttle up, and the scooter does like a wheelie, and he's
Yep.
fucking cruising. He's going after Bubba Ho-Tep
And he rams him and they fall off the edge down that hill.
together.
Yeah, together.
Yeah.
Into like the water area, like
And
next to the water.
As he rams him, he is spraying him with the gas. I noticed that because I was like, is Bubba Ho-Tep drooling? And I was like, oh, no. Elvis is just spraying him down.
But then we see like when they get to the bottom of the hill, like that Elvis has been mortally wounded somehow.
It's like, no, it's like a stick.
Yeah,
rammed
it's a
him through. It
deep
ran him through. Yeah.
wound.
Yeah,
so
like
Elvis
he's-
is bleeding out
Yeah.
at this point, and Bubba Ho-Tep like tries to attack him, and Elvis goes, "TCB, baby," and then he punches him. He lights him on fire again, and gets the job done.
Yeah.
And Bubba Ho-Tep is dead
Yeah. He like screams.
because
he
Elvis is
falls
like, "I
into-
got it. Listen, I'm gonna die, but I'm not gonna let my soul die too. I'm gonna save everybody in that rest home. I'm doing this TCB time, you know."
Yeah.
And then Elvis looks up to the stars as he's bleeding out because Bubba Ho-Tep is now dead. Everything is saved. He looks up to the stars as he's bleeding out, and the stars form into a hieroglyphs. And it says, "All is well." Really hopeful message. And then Elvis says,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's the end of the movie.
and that's the movie!
Audience, I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered what Elvis Presley, JFK, and Egypt have in common? Bubba Ho-Tep. If that means nothing to you, well then watch this film and find out.
Yep. That, oh my gosh, this was really, no, I really think everybody should watch this movie because it's actually a good film.
Right.
Like, I so enjoyed this film.
Nothing was ununderstandable. Everything was clear.
Right.
I guess it is an obscure film, but it was really well done.
Yeah.
It was meant as, but that's the thing, is like, I can't even take this as a comedy. This was
there's
awesome.
comedic moments.
Sure, it's
you know,
a
but
funny concept.
Yeah.
The fact that I keep being
It's
like,
a wild concept.
the fact that I keep thinking like Kimasabe, JFK, and Elvis all fighting some Egypt demon,
Yeah.
but it's not any of that because it's all old people in an old folks home. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
And
it's
there's
beautiful.
not much of a budget. Like,
No, not at all.
there's no special effects realistically. Other than the big bitch cockroach.
Yeah. And some like, visual, like kind of,
Sure, like the flashy things.
yeah.
And then the little
Yeah.
the,
But they,
Bubba Ho-Tep walking through a
they
wall.
did what they did so well with the money they had to make a good film.
Yeah, they almost got all of Bruce Campbell's makeup on.
Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, please watch this movie and let us know what you think about it, and let us know your theories too. Who do you think is actually who they say they are? Do you think that Elvis is actually Elvis and JFK is actually JFK? Let us know if you decide to watch the movie, and we hope you do. So,
Yeah.
now that it's the end of the movie, it's now time for Ed Wood trivia.
Boop-a-doop, boop-a-doop, boop.
Yeah. We'll eventually get some music for this.
Yeah.
We gotta get our shit together on that.
Get our poop in a loop.
Yeah. So, Remy, here
Yes.
is this week's Ed Wood trivia question.
I'm
And
scared
going to give you.
and excited.
I am going to give you multiple choice answers for this one.
Ooh, delightful.
So, Ed Wood
Mm-hmm.
once made a movie called Orgy of Death.
Yes.
It was a soft porno.
Oh, okay.
And he did not direct this film,
Mm-hmm.
but he served as writer, production manager, casting agent, and one of the following jobs. Was it A, Donut Boy, B, he held the cue cards up, or C, he fanned the lead actress?
And Donut Boy does not participate. I really want there to be a spot in a porno called Donut Boy. It's like, oh, he's that guy? I just never knew it had a title.
I mean, it's one of those like nudie films from like the 60s, you know, where it's like kind of like a somewhat like precursor to exploitation movies. What do you think the answer is? A, Donut Boy, B, cue card holder, or C, he would fan the lead actress in between takes?
I'm going to go with A, Donut Boy.
Well, I'm sorry.
Damn it!
The answer was B. He held up the cue cards for actors.
Wait, okay, hold on. Because I just gotta talk about that. That was my least expected answer. Because when is it like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you so hard. And cut! That's not your line.
God damn it, get some goddamn cue cards here
like-
for these fucking actors.
It's like, oh, sorry. I'm gonna fuck you so good.
well, like,
there it
because
is.
they're not like, it's not like porno like it is now. It's like,
cue cards, not like lines. It's like, quit doing the butt, do more face stuff. I don't know.
No, like cue cards, like how on SNL they hold cue cards up with like the lines.
Sure.
on it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was right
But
with
it's
that.
like, so it's
Yeah.
an erotic horror film, So it's just like, yeah, that's what Orgy of Death is,
Okay.
So he's just holding up cue cards and like, read your lines here, if you need to know your lines.
Sure.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, well, you were really quick on that Orgy of Death reference, so more to know about JG.
that's the name of the movie.
Great.
And, all right, well, that's gonna be it for this week.
Donut Boy.
Put that on a T-shirt. I want a donut boy.
Don't put that on a T-shirt. In fact, don't tell my lawyer I said that.
You have a lawyer?
No, but I have a Donut Boy.
All right, that is going to be it for this week's episode. I'm going to stop this now before we go any further with this Donut Boy nonsense. Thanks for listening this week. Please tune in next week for another episode of Obscurities of the Silver Screen. We do not know what movie we're going to do yet.
Well, you don't. I do. As in you, the listener, and I as in the show, as in the... I don't know where I'm going
And
with this.
I'm he and he is me and whatever.
and
we are all together.
together.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Never heard that song.
Again, if you like the show a lot, please share it with your friends and family and your coworker that you really hate. Share it with anybody and just to annoy the shit out of them. Like our stuff on our social media pages and
If you're a Donut Boy, please let us know.
send us donuts.
Is that... Oh, shit. Is that what they do?
Can they send us donuts in the mail?
I don't know. If you're a Donut Boy, let us know.
All right, that's gonna be it for our episode this week. I am JG, and
I'm Remy Grey.
and we'll see you next week.